And lastly for me, champ, in the world of comparisons that we live in right now, if you can, compare and contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence "Bud" Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather ruled as boxing's pound-for-pound king for years. He branded himself TB, meaning the best ever. He walked away unbeaten, retiring with a record of 50-0. Pacquiao, Cotto, Canelo, and De La Hoya. Those were the names he conquered. But then Crawford came along and flipped the script.
Fighter they doing a shoulder roll, you see, I mean, yeah. And not knocking the guys that paved the way. And I want to come on record and say, I'm appreciative for guys like Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. So many guys that paved the way for me. But there's only one Floyd Mayweather. These fighters are not better than me. You look at the numbers, they say, oh, Canelo may end up beating more world champions than Floyd Mayweather. Wait, he should? With almost, 80 and 90 fights, he should? I beat more world champions than any fighter in history. I'm 50-0, but half of my fights was world title fights.
Floyd Mayweather ruled as boxing's pound-for-pound king for years. He branded himself TB, meaning the best ever. He walked away unbeaten, retiring with a record of 50-0. Pacquiao, Cotto, Canelo, and De La Hoya. Those were the names he conquered. But then Crawford came along and flipped the script.
Thank you, GOAT, because you are the GOAT of this era. Terence "Bud" Crawford.
He has now claimed 3 victories. The Rowand remains untouched. He has conquered 5 separate divisions. Floyd was accused of choosing softer fights and meeting legends who were fading. But Crawford fought and beat boxing's brightest star while he was still at his peak.
Because, like, if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to...
Max Kellerman was the voice who called it. Floyd decided when the fights would happen. Crawford never hesitated to remind everyone about it. And that changes everything.
Second half of the fight put an emphasis on the fact that Bud was in fact outboxing him in the first half of the fight. It is one of the biggest wins in boxing history. And now let Uncle Max gather around, children, and I will explain this. This is the situation, guys. No one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division.
Get them all.
Forever, the record was 3 by Henry Armstrong. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing.
The numbers line up almost evenly. What truly separates Crawford from the rest is his willingness to take risks. That boldness has sent the fight world into a frenzy. So now the question is, has Crawford surpassed Floyd Mayweather?
Better out of those two, Crawford or Mayweather?
I think Crawford is better, bigger. Like he's actually he moved in weight class, and I would say Crawford is a better fight all around fighter. Mayweather is really good too, though. You can knock him as well. He's very talented. It would have been a tough fight, but I think Crawford would have the edge over Mayweather because of the long arms and because he's bigger. You know what I'm saying? And he would have kept him at bay. It would have been hard for Mayweather to counter, maybe. But Mayweather's definitely a technician. I mean, like Crawford said, Mayweather has his era, And Crawford, this is.
Let's rewind to the Canelo fight to understand why emotions exploded over this. Everyone believed Crawford was undersized the moment he stepped into the ring.
Your favorite, Canelo or Crawford?
Canelo.
Yeah.
Canelo, yeah.
What do you think is the most significant part of that matchup in Canelo versus Crawford?
That he's comfortable at 168, you know, that he's been fighting there. He went and collected all the belts at that weight class. Crawford, of course, Crawford has a chance. He has a big chance, you know, being one of the pound-for-pound fighters of the world. But it's just the advantage of being there first. You know what to expect in that weight class. Crawford's coming off a 154 fight that he fought last year. So I really don't consider him even a 154. He's been fighting at 147 for a while. He had that one fight at 154, and then he stopped fighting for a year again. So, you know, of course he's probably been training, you know, again, high-class fighter. But to be comfortable at 168, you're going to have to do some fights in there. And going in there fighting the undisputed champion, it's going to take a toll.
And then came the moment, standing across from a true 168-pounder like Canelo Alvarez. It seemed impossible, but Crawford not only survived, he defeated him right there in the ring. Canelo landed shots, fought back, yet was broken down piece by piece as Crawford circled with ease. Canelo unleashed heavy punches, but none of them changed what was unfolding. Crawford rose to the challenge, already controlling the fight by the 7th round. By round 12, it was undeniable. All 3 judges turned in the same card. He won, but it wasn't just about skill. He carved history across 3 weight divisions. He became the first man to remain undefeated at every stop.
For the fight, the Crawford-Canelo fight, and you had a Cavs hat on. This time you've got a GOAT hat on. Is that how you're feeling? I know it says Muhammad Ali, but is that how you're feeling about Bud's performance, about his whole career?
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that way, man. Go. Greatest of all time, man. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to him. You gotta give it to his coaches. Not just me, Saul Red, Bernie, Chet, nutritionists. You know, everybody played a part.
Canelo said he's way better than Mayweather. What do you think to that?
Who, Terence?
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Of course he is.
Floyd would never have dared to risk what Crawford just did. He defeated a larger champion, while that man was still in his prime weight. And that's the part that eats at Floyd. He's always been a master of storytelling. The man who built an empire by branding himself money and constantly reminding the world of his greatness.
Fights, 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that...
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
But now the conversation has shifted to profit. People are already calling Crawford the new pound-for-pound king. Analysts still debate if he's truly greater than Floyd. Supporters insist he showed courage in ways Floyd never dared. Floyd hates that talk. That's why he crashed the celebration right after the fight. Now he's hurling insults at Crawford, mocking his image, even trying to stir up a showdown. Floyd knows Bud's victory over Canelo cast a shadow on his own legacy, and he wants the spotlight back.
To be Chris Eubank's trainer, first of all?
It feels good, man. You know what I'm saying? I've been this trainer before, so...
Yeah, it's good.
It's a no-brainer.
Of course. Congratulations on the win. What's your first reactions to Crawford's victory? One of the greats of this era, right?
Oh, definitely that. You know that.
What do you want to see him do now?
What I want to do now?
What do you want to see Crawford do next?
Do what he at this point now in his career where he could do whatever he wanted to do.
Who would you like to see him fight? Any names? Is there any names in particular you'd like to see?
It doesn't matter.
What about Canelo? Would you like to see him retire?
I don't. Canelo's not my responsibility.
Okay.
He picked up plenty from Floyd, and the two had trained side by side before. But Floyd downplayed Bud's victory over Canelo, making it sound smaller than it was. He refused to give credit for rewriting history. Instead, he dismissed Canelo as overrated. That was Floyd being Floyd. That's who he's always been. And it's not just Crawford in this story. Look at what happened with Gervonta Tank Davis. Floyd built him up, promoted him under his own brand. But the moment Tank wanted independence, Floyd struck back. The man was chasing headlines again. It's always the same play. Floyd rewrites the script whenever another fighter threatens his throne. So those who side with Crawford call it jealousy. It wasn't Bud who was going after Floyd. He was only trying to elevate the sport. But Floyd can't handle the idea of someone else taking his throne.
The spotlight, like, why would he try to diminish your career? Because at that time, I don't want to go too deep into it because I don't want to bring up mine. But it was somehow that they were saying that I was messing with his daughter off of the fact that she kept.
Floyd's message has stayed the same for years. I'm the pay-per-view king. I'm the most famous fighter in boxing.
That Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar.
But what do you know? Now it seems Crawford can pull it off too. And that wasn't the only headline from the Canelo fight. The box office numbers were strong. Netflix opened the door for the whole world to watch. The stadium was packed. It became one of the most viewed fights in the last 20 years.
A decade, I'm a fighter of the last century, honestly. and it's a reason why I'm the best fighter of the last 100 years. The credentials show it. And I went out there and showed it. What's better than going out there, being world champion for what, 20 years? Box office, I got the record. Pay-per-view, I got the record. It's better to win half 5 world titles than 4 at one particular time.
Crawford is more than simply the top fighter pound for pound. He's now a global superstar on screen. Crowds can't stop watching him. He understands how to carry a pay-per-view. No matter the place, his name makes headlines.
Terence fought a virtuoso fight. Terence never let Canelo get into a rhythm. Terence never allowed Canelo to get anything going, and I didn't think he could do it for 12 rounds. I thought that the first 3 or 4 rounds were going to be difficult for Canelo for that reason, but Terence was able to do it for 12 rounds, and in the later part of the fight, he kind of pushed the fight more than I think people expected, which is the mark of a superstar, man.
Floyd feels fear because Bud now dominates not only inside the ring, but outside it too. Why does Floyd suddenly want to face Crawford? The answer is simple: money and pride. Floyd is retired, yet the world still craves his name. He staged exhibitions with YouTubers, kickboxers, even MMA fighters, just to keep the cash flowing. But those matches meant nothing. They vanished without legacy. A clash with Crawford, though, that would be unforgettable. It writes itself, the undefeated king against the undefeated challenger. Old school colliding with new school. The man who once declared himself TB, now standing against the man many believe truly is.
Afterward, is it that you just realized everything that you achieved, the moment just hit you then?
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's just, the history, behind the sport is just everything that, I trained for my whole life. It all was, coming out that one night. That was all paying off. You have a lot of people that, adopted this narrative that Terence Crawford can't sell, Terence Crawford is not marketable, and they push the narrative to the public, and that's all people write about. Oh, Terence Crawford can't do this, Terence Crawford can't do that. But anyone in Terence Crawford fights, you see a sold out crowd, but they wasn't talking about that. They was talking about how, marketable I'm not, and that kind of was hurting my career because You know, a lot of people was looking at me and said, oh yeah, they said he's not marketable. Or they said he's not, you know, don't have a personality, things like that, because I didn't want to do things their way. I didn't want to put on a show. I didn't want to disrespect my opponents when they wasn't disrespecting me.
Right.
I wasn't, you know, I'm not a guy that, you know, wear jewelry for no reason. You know, just the things that I didn't want to do that they wanted me to do. You know, they go out there and say, oh, well, they lost money on me. You know, it's just crazy though to see me headline, you know, not one of the largest attending fight in American history. In American history.
Floyd sees it as the perfect way to cash in and grab headlines again. That's the only reason he keeps pushing this talk. He nearly leaned into Crawford's hype for that very reason. He wants Bud to hand him one last massive payday. But here's the twist. This isn't what Crawford desires. Floyd has long been an idol to Bud. He admired him as a legend and one of the greatest ever. Yet he's never once said he wants that fight. And the reason is clear. Crawford believes stepping in with Floyd does nothing for him. Floyd is 48, nearly a decade removed from his prime. He's nowhere near his peak anymore. Doubters would shrug. So what if Bud beats him? Floyd was too old. Others would claim Floyd's loss was a fluke. Either way, Crawford gains nothing.
He's sizing niggas up, bro. Keep it a stack. Did you in your head size up Floyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? If we was ever keep it real, boss, keep it real.
I'm never that type of guy. I think that's some grimy shit. Always been happy for him, been a fan of his, and I never imagined us fighting.
Yeah.
I never looked at him like, man, I know I'll be this.
But you capping, bro. I never thought like fantasy fight me versus Floyd, nah.
Never. I never just was with a person and looked at him like, man, I'll be this. Never. That's some hating type shit to me.
Like plotting.
I ain't never been that type of person ever.
That's exactly why Bud won't chase Floyd. Nothing can stop him from cementing his own legacy. That might mean defending his crown, stepping up to middleweight, or simply walking away undefeated. He and Floyd have never met in the ring. For Bud, it's business. He's never cared about clout. The truth is simple. Floyd wants to stir drama, to sell a fight that brings him another payday. He's still the most recognizable boxer in history, once the pinnacle of the sport. But Floyd, no longer the star he was, craves the spotlight again. When they nearly clashed, there was no real hatred. It was about positioning. Floyd understands that stirring chaos brings in money. He knows skeptics will talk. He knows his name will trend again when clips of him spread everywhere. Crawford never called for Floyd in the end, and plenty already believe he surpassed him.
4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you? Keyshawn beat Tank?
Keyshawn beat everybody. Him and Shakur.
How you feel about them not fighting each other? That's cool?
Yeah, that's cool. They don't need to fight each other.
Was there anybody ever...
They can beat up everybody else.
Was there anybody ever like that in boxing with you? Because not really Sean Porter, right?
No friends in this business for you. I think Tim Bradley would have been like that.
Okay.
I think me and Tim Bradley would have been like that. I wouldn't have fought Tim.
If the opportunity presented itself against Floyd, you would have, though, even though you admire him so much and he's so great. But you
Floyd, yeah, because I wasn't as close. Me and Floyd close now, but when Floyd was boxing, I wasn't as close with Floyd like I am now.
How do you beat Floyd, though? Like, since nobody's been able to crack that code.
You think I would tell you?
He ain't fighting anymore. So that fight ain't gonna happen.
You gotta have 4 arms.
I know.
And 6 eyes to beat Floyd.
Is Floyd better than you?
I think you got your answer there.
Nah, I didn't hear nothing. Is Floyd better than you? Some fighters say, even like Gervonta Davis.
Beat your ass?
Okay, that's a no. That's a no.
There's real drama in this tale. The legacy of Floyd against the rise of Crawford, the old GOAT, and the new king. And then came Canelo, where Crawford's takeover began, something Floyd may never accept. That's the heart of it. A showdown between Floyd Mayweather and Terence Crawford would be epic, but the true battle isn't in the ring. It's over legacy itself. Fans insist Crawford is the pound-for-pound best, undefeated across 3 divisions. Many argue his stardom now eclipses Floyd's. He's filling arenas, dominating pay-per-view. Floyd craves that spotlight again. He's desperate to return, not to build a legacy, but for relevance and wealth. Crawford, though, doesn't need it. His story is already written. Floyd can't add chapters to that book. So what do you think? Floyd keeps calling Crawford's name. Should he respond? Or ignore the noise and focus on his own path? Drop your thoughts below. And don't forget, join Fight Motive Fan.
That if he beats Canelo, it could put him as even the greatest of all time. What does that put him in the all-time list, man?
At least top 10.
At least
yeah,
top
10 or top 15,
Yeah.
easily, you know? There's guys that we may not know of or heard of, like Henry Armstrong. Simultaneously, he was 3 divisions carrying all 3 weight divisions at the same time.
Which performance was better? I don't like to compare them, but Crawford or Mayweather's over Canelo. Like it's just different.
It's just different styles, different looks, you know? But the punching, the output that he was giving Canelo definitely gave him the win.